I'm here with my guy, Eric Holliday.
What's up, man?
Good friend of mine. Good to see you, brother. You doing all right?
Doing good, brother. How about
A little
you?
rainy out there, so might have got a little wet on the way here.
Yeah.
But you're good. What's going on? What's new in your personal life? Do you have anything new? Do you got like a project for work you're working on?
So I'm starting to dabble in some real estate. We're doing some flip business, stuff like that.
Okay.
I mean, we just had our tournament, in Orlando? I mean, in Panama City in January. So we're coming up on March.
Yeah.
So really just playing.
It's flying by.
Yeah, I know. Just playing some local tournaments, hanging out. Just I don't know, just being cool, I guess.
Just being cool. So what do you? I mean, we all love playing flag football. We like hanging out with the guys. What do you like to do, like besides flag football? Do you have fun elsewhere?
So yeah, okay, I can teach you, or talk to you about like my daily routine. So I do. I mean, obviously I work, and work is really early in the mornings for me. So I'm usually from about 5 a.m. till 2 in the afternoon. Typically is when my work schedule with orthopedic surgery and stuff like that. And then, like I said, I just created this secondary kind of job hobby with trying to get into real estate. And then honestly, I have a lot of free time in the afternoons, like evenings. So
Maybe you like to play basketball.
that was what I was saying. My second love is basketball, and I play at LA Fitness. Right now,
LA Fitness Hooper.
Yes, they only have half court open because of COVID and stuff like that.
Wow.
So we play a lot of 3-on-3, and honestly, that just keeps my mind.
Who's your
occupied.
NBA comp?
Man, I love Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. That was like one of my favorite players to ever watch. If he was on, I was watching. As of right now, I don't know. I just kind of like whatever's a good matchup. I'm more into matchups now. So
Yeah, for sure.
I was a really big Miami Heat fan last year, just because of the fact that
Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah,
I like Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah, and Tyler Hero. I like his swagger.
I like
He was
Hero.
kind
I
of
like
a rookie.
Bam. They have a cool team.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. I'm kind of just a homebody. I just chill,
Just
like have a
normal
good time.
guy.
Yeah, if the boys want to.
Despite all the hoopla, Eric Holliday's a normal guy.
Yeah, I'm a normal guy, man. Just a regular day.
You are the Team USA starting 5-man quarterback. Talk to me a little bit about that. I know you were selected, what was that, 2018 was the first year?
Yes.
So 2018, and the teams came out for the 2020 season about a couple of months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Yep.
What was that when you realized, hey, I'm back, I get to do this again, I get to represent my country and Team USA, and I get to be Mr. Captain America? What's that like?
Right. So when they did the preliminary roster back in January of 2019, right, we all had to fight for our spots.
Yeah.
Nothing was guaranteed. When I played in 2018, I actually wasn't the starting quarterback. I was the secondary quarterback, so I actually had to compete against him in 2019.
Let's give a little background. It was a tournament in Dallas.
Yes.
There was 4 quarterbacks invited.
Right, 4, yep.
You,
D-Mart,
Mike D-Mart,
Brian Alfieri,
Brian
and the original Jorge
Castudo.
Castudo.
Yeah.
That's his last name. And he's been doing it for 12, 16 years, so it was definitely a hard job to overcome. But so we had a good preliminary roster. We got to play against each other. We were stars and stripes.
It was you and Birdman on one team.
Me and Brian Alfieri, yes, we're on one team, and then the other 2 quarterbacks are on their team. And then there was other teams from different countries, and then ultimately we had to play each other before the championship because they didn't want an overpower at Cowboy Stadium, and we luckily beat them. I mean, we had it was a really good game. It was close. You were there.
I was there.
And then we actually got to play. I think it was who did we play in this year? Israel. In Cowboy Stadium. So we came out on top. We won. I was selected MVP. Had a pretty good tournament, if I can say myself.
I got a cool video.
Yeah, you do.
Jumbotron.
Yeah, it was really cool. And that's just kind of how it came about. So luckily, had a good showing, came MVP, and I got the starting job and became captain. So
what's that like when, I mean, back in 2018, you guys won the gold, and again, you won the tournament, another national tournament with USA across your chest. What's that like when you go out there and it's like, I'm not just playing for my Texas or Freaks team, I'm playing for a country at this point?
Man, it's the best feeling. I don't think anything can replicate that from local or national level until you get to that international stage. It's unbelievable. They treat you like royalty. I mean, but you're also expected to act like you're the best superstar, and you got to show out and come to play. So it's a really big honor just to be selected out of so many people that play flag football, and just continue to represent it and have that character and be kind of a role model, as you can say. I know nothing lasts forever, so I just want to do the best I can while my job or while I'm here.
Yeah.
And then, when I give up my opportunity and the next man up, I want to welcome them with open arms and, hey, I know you already deserve it, so continue to represent the United States, not yourself.
Yeah. So what's on tap for this Team USA team? What's the schedule like for the coming year? I know you guys are going out of the country a couple of times. Just touch on that a little
Sure.
bit.
So COVID kind of put things in perspective and like kind of, hey, we got to
shout out COVID.
Right, exactly. Whatever country, their regulations, stuff like that, protocol. So it's a little bit harder. So the embassy is doing a really good job communicating with them, to saying like, hey, we're trying to fly in these people from the United States. What's the protocol? So right now we're still on a delay. We're supposed to be in Denmark by the end of May, but not 100% sure what's going to happen due to the country of Denmark wants to kind of, hey, everybody has to be tested. But then it's the case of like, what happens if someone tests positive while they're in Denmark and then like can't leave anybody behind. So COVID's kind of pushing them back. But seems like Spain is going to be pretty set in stone at the end of October, and that's the big international bowl, or the big IFAF is what we call it, and that's where all the international teams come. That's I call it the World Games, but it's not the correct term.
Yeah.
So that's where the next big stage is, and then that's the end of 2021, and then 2022 we're hosting the real World Games in Birmingham, Alabama, and I think we're going to go through another preliminary roster.
Okay, so it'll be a different team.
It will be. It's changing a lot. I mean, it's coming to the point now. It's almost, I feel like it's every year we're going to be competing for our job. Nothing's, for sure.
How do you feel about that? Do you think it should be, hey, I'm here, I've earned this, or do you think, hey, bring on the competition, let's get other guys, chances to be great and enjoy this opportunity?
Yeah. Me personally, I think people do. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question, right? Because if they're doing a good job, if it's not broken, why fix it, right? But at the same time, as a competitor, I want to prove to everybody why I deserve to be there. Yeah. So my personal opinion is I want to do the preliminary roster. I want to invite the best of the best, and I want to continue to show out. But it's just unfortunate, right? I mean, you're a quarterback, I'm a quarterback. We have bad tournaments. We're not perfect as much as we're put on this pedestal, right? Yeah, exactly. It does happen. So I think that is put into, evaluation. But hey, I mean, there's no excuse for Tom Brady. If he has a bad game, everybody's going to be talking about it. So if you want to be treated like that and you want to be representing the country, you got to be able to perform at the highest level at any given moment.
Do you feel like there's like a target on your back? Good or bad?
Right. Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's what comes with it, right?
Of course.
How do you deal with that?
This was actually the first year that I really felt not really a target. I always felt like there's always a target, just because it's kind of how.
I mean, I know when I'm watching your games and say you make a bad pass or someone catches an interception, that's Team USA quarterback. Like, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, when I get in game mode, I really don't pay attention to the sidelines. Yeah. Like, it's really hard for somebody outside of the field to impact me negatively. I don't know. I tell rushers all the time, they're like, what can I do to make you think, or make you flinch, or change your outcome? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I get zoned in, and it's not tunnel vision. It's just like when I'm in a groove, like I'm with my guys, we're in a huddle, and I'm like, boom, 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 next play, boom, boom, boom. Like, it's just hard.
Yeah.
But
you're playing.
Right, but it wasn't until this past tournament that when we lost to Sickwood in PCB on a Hail Mary. Well, it wasn't a Hail Mary. It was a great play by Bobo.
Jump ball in the end zone time from half of the field. It was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, he did a good job. He made a great play. But it wasn't until then when I looked around and I was like, I've never had an audience that large, and it wasn't even the championship game. So you could just tell that. And I mean, there was a lot of hate, because I mean, they were just like, I finally could open my ears and I could hear what people were saying, and I was just like, where did this just come from? And then, I have really good teammates. They talk to me and they're like, hey, this is what's going to happen, right? They're not going to congratulate you if you win, because they expect that, but when you lose, they're going to let you know. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's fine. Like, I always rock with my team. I know who's loyal to me. I know who's in my inner circle, is what I like to call it. So, I mean, I don't pay mind to people that don't do me any good.
Yeah, and I know we had a conversation on the phone, a good conversation when you got back, and I told you, it comes from a place of hate. No one wants to see you win, and when you lose, they're happy. So what is that? I mean, when, like you said, you had a large viewing for your game. It was a semifinal game. It wasn't even a championship game. And you ultimately saw people cheering on your downfall. How does that affect your mental? And then 3 hours later, you're then expected to go play 4-man, and you're not done. Like, you now have that on your mind. It's like, all right, now I got to go play again. What's that like for you?
It's like it's what, you know, when you throw an interception, it's short-term memory, right? Like, let it go. But ultimately, what's a better feeling is when you look around your huddle and your teammates, and then you have that support, and you're like, hey, let's just don't even worry about it. Let's move on. Mm-hmm. That's when you know you're in a good place. So, and I've learned that actually with Team USA, and I've actually learned that with the team that I have now. And it took a while to build that, and it's not something you can do overnight. Like, there's going to be cancers, there's going to be in and out things. Like, it's just part of the game, it's part of the nature. But ultimately, you keep pushing at it, you're going to find what's good, what's best for you. Yeah.
So, I mean, I gotta ask the question. Everybody wants to know, why did you do what you did, whatever it is, XYZ, to get that team to come together and play for the Freaks? I know from previous tournaments, you guys won in Arlington, you guys were national championships, and you kind of went with a different team, whether it was because some players couldn't go to that tournament or whatever. Why did you decide to add more people to your team when you already had something working and clicking?
All right, so this is going to be a long answer.
So we're here for.
All right, so really it all started when AFFL, the second season, right? Season two. I didn't play season 1 because I didn't believe in the hype of the money. Played season 2. We had a pretty good team. Obviously, we did well. That was my first time ever playing, and I excelled really well to finish top 4. I believe it was top 4 in the amateur division. And it just opened up so much opportunity. So many people from everywhere saw who I was, how good I was, just opportunities, blah, blah, blah. So I said, hey, let's take a step back. At that time, I didn't have a 5-man team. Yeah. Freaks weren't Freaks until that season 2 of AFFL. So I took that time to really, hey, let's come back. Let's use this as an opportunity to market ourselves and say, hey, look what we just did season 1. Look, we can probably be even better the next season. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let's market ourselves to upgrade and see what pieces we can get.
Outside of Dallas.
Right, outside of Dallas, or just even in Dallas, if we can get better guys. Season 3 happens. During COVID, they come out with the announcement. We're only taking 10 teams, 12 teams, or that was the rumor, right? So now you get an automatic bid, and now you're condensing more and more people. Like, if you want to play, you want this chance to win this much money, you got to be on one of these teams. Yeah. So it gave us an even bigger opportunity to try out guys, right? So then we made our adjustments. We let go of some people who did what we had to do, regrouped, regathered. Then we came FFWCT in Arlington 2019 during COVID. So we told these guys, hey, AFFL's happening. We're playing in the division. We're playing there. Come be a part of it. We want you there. If you want to be on our team, we need you there to show us blah, blah, blah. And we're going to show you. And we end up winning. Yeah. Same time frame, we're also playing 5s. Yes. Didn't have a 5s team. There was no Freaks before that, like I said. So we used some of these guys that we already knew were a good 5-man team. And that just gave me even more showing, not only am I good at AFFL, but hey, Eric's really good at 5s too. Yeah. They saw it, they believed it, we ended up winning. We're world champs, or national champs, I don't know what you call it. I say national champs. And then it was a wrap. Sure, we made very minimal tweaks to that team, but ultimately it's been the same core that's been there since that national championship. Great group of guys, love them, they're still with us. The only negative effects that I've had or impact is when we played tournaments, sanctions that are AFFL and 5s.
As in it's a tournament, but they have 2 styles.
Right, in the same weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need 15 guys for AFFL, but you don't need 15 guys for 5s. Mm-hmm. Some people don't get to play. So one, I got to figure out people's characters. Are hey, are they really here as best for the team? Are they okay with sitting on the sideline for a game? And the next game I really need them? It just proved to me more and more that these guys are the pieces I've always wanted and needed. Mm-hmm. So that's basically the story of how Freaks became. And it's been like that And it's still a tough dilemma bringing so many guys for that division, but I always tell them, hey, we all get the same cut at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just because I'm doing most of the work, we're going to get the same cut,
Yeah.
because I have that respect for you and I appreciate you coming and staying loyal to our team. So that's just kind of like the ultimatum I kind of gave guys, and it's really worked out for us.
All right, and this last time to touch on the dull moments. The 4-on-4 championship, you guys are playing the Looney Tunes.
Yep.
A lot of commotion was made about you taking yourself out, whatever it was. Is there anything you would have done different in that situation? How do you look at it now, 2 months later, and it's like, hey, let's rethink it? Like, do you change your mindset? What was going on for you in that moment? Now that it's a couple of months away, like, how do you look back on that situation?
I still think it was what we did was great. I think Derek, we call him Red here, he made a really good interception for a touchdown at a rusher position. So he did a good job. But what people didn't get to see before was the game against Modi.
Yep.
And the fact that I saw what Mark did and I was able to flip it and kind of use that as Pablo. And the fact that he just killed all game. You know, all I do is just hand off. If it's, like I said, I'm going to make the game simple and do what I got to do to win. So back to Looney Tunes in the championship game, you know, there's minimal seconds down. We're down by 8. We go down, we score. We need to get the 2-point conversion. I decided to take myself out because, yes, again, I believed in my guys, just like they believe in me, that Pablo could scramble around long enough either to make a good throw or run it in. I mean, he just proved that to me the game before. Not going to fix it if it's not broken. So, and ultimately he didn't get it. Still would have called the same thing until I feel more comfortable. I mean, I'm not as experienced in 4-on-4 yet, but if I was, and I'll continue to grow with that, and if that's a play call I call later on, that's still my play call. Like, they didn't take me out. I took myself out to think that was the best position for us to win.
Gotcha. All right, so before you won the national championship in 2020 of June, so just last year in Arlington, it was the biggest knock on Eric Holliday was, he hasn't won the big one. He hasn't done this. He hasn't won a national championship. And then you do. Well, not finally, you've won big tournaments before that, but just the hate, and everybody always said, Eric's never won anything big. What does Eric want?
Right.
And then for you to finally win something where that can't be said anymore, what was that like for you? And what was just that moment with your teammates and everything for you personally?
Sure, internally it was I was glorified, right, to finally, like, you can never say that about me again. It's a good feeling, especially because people always find what you haven't done and just keep saying over and over until you do it. So that was great, but ultimately it was more, like I said, I'm a huge team guy, so it was more beneficial to me, the guys that stuck with me day one, that been through the mud with me, and like, they never even thought about leaving. So that was more, I was happy for them that I could do that for them. And I'm glad that they see and believe in me and that we put in the work. You know, we'd go, people say practice for flag football, but we'd go run routes, you know, just build that chemistry. So ultimately, I'm just glad I did it for them.
So you're a 5-man national champion, you're a world champion in AFFL at FFWCT, and a national champion. You have a gold medal. You're going for gold medal number 2. Where do you think this game can ultimately be, and how do you want to help it get there?
Right. So I want to use my USA platform as best as I can. I mean, it's crazy that I never knew what flag was when I was in high school and stuff like that. Going forward, then you just see Florida and it's on a whole different atmosphere, and I think that's where it needs to be nationally. I think, whenever I was growing up, flag was when you were peewee below the age of 6, and nowadays, I mean, I do believe in CTE. I do CTE, and I believe in the concussions, stuff like that. I think flag can really turn into a better off-season program for a lot of these people, and get exposure of different route runnings and continue practicing throwing the ball on a larger field, no matter where that might be. I also really believe that, you know, flag should be a Olympic sport. I mean, there's no reason why it can't. I mean, every country plays it, and I've obviously got to experience that, and they're almost right there at, like, being better at us. A lot of these countries don't have football. You know what I mean? Like Mexico, they don't have football. Denmark, you know, I can go on and on. Italy, they don't have actual tackle football. So flag football is their football. And so when they look at America and they're like, they see the similarities of, like, it's still football in their eyes, like, it should be at that stage. So that's really what I want to do and promote it and help continue to grow it. I think the more and more exposure we get out there, it will be inevitable. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. So one thing about you that everyone always says is Eric is a great play caller. He's got a great mind. He draws up different plays than everybody else. How did you get to that point? Was there someone along the way that you learned from, like when you first started playing flag football? You played linebacker in high school. You didn't play football. You didn't play quarterback. But how did you get to the point where people just renownedly say Eric's one of the best, if not the best play caller in flag football?
I can't take all the props on that one. Some smaller people that I've watched growing up was, there was Clay. He was a local legend here. Pat did a really good job when I was first starting off. But ultimately, my biggest mentor was this guy named Mario Martin. And he learned from the best of the best from Florida that kind of helped him on the 4-man side. But as far as 5-man, it was just me and him. Like, it was always back and forth between me and him.
You guys played on the same team?
Initially, we played against each other a lot until I finally got to the point where, like, I just said, hey, you're better than me. I need help. I want to get to your level, and I want to continue to grow and be better and better. So can you teach me some things? And then we started playing together. He started breaking things down of, like, why we do this, why we do that. If you see this, we do that. He really created X and O's, and I went from checkers to chess. The saying a lot of people like to say. So he opened up my mind, and I was able to really just go a different direction. He taught me things that I still run, but I was also able to see even more things and create different avenues and streams of, like, there's other opportunities too with play calling. So he was my biggest mentor for sure. He really got me from this level to that level.
So what is y'all's relationship like now?
Still great. So we played together for about 2 years, and we just ran the table. We were winning everything. And then it was he's older than me, so it was kind of like his time. He was like, hey, I'm gonna take a step back, like, kind of done with flag. I got my little girls. I'm gonna start, taking care of business. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna go do my own thing, of course.
Yeah.
But now he actually came back out of retirement, so now we get to play against each other a lot. So it's just a really good student versus teacher battle.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how we leave it. We still have a great relationship. We still talk. He texted me last night. It's just if you ever need something, I'm always here.
Yeah. And that's my favorite thing, honestly, about flag football is, like, for instance, me and you, it was pegged up as a rivalry, me and you, when we first started playing against each other, but we've gotten to know each other and we're good friends now. And just the relationships I know personally, and I know that you as well, that I've made in flag football are ones that I'll carry on forever. So what's that like for you in flag football, to where your teammates are not only your teammates, they're some of your best friends?
Yeah, no, 100%. I honestly, the day I get married, it's probably gonna be half flag football people, just because I have built really good relationships. I've met people and I've networked with people that I never thought I ever could. I didn't even know, some of these people existed outside of these walls, and I was just like, these are really good people that I love dearly, and I would do anything for them. So and you and I spend so much time on weekends, and we sacrifice so much time for these guys, and we want to be surrounded by good guys that also take care of us in the same direction, which they have our back, and I think we know that. So it's just great. It's a good feeling, and it's even better, like, now that I have teammates from Florida, and I'm part of the USA team that are from everywhere, and I can, even though I don't see them every weekend, I can call them or FaceTime them in 2 seconds, and we'll have a good 30-minute talk.
Yeah.